Hello and welcome to another What's Inside. This time we're looking at Spider-Man 2, Spider-Man vs. Ock Game. This is from 2004, produced by Pressman. It's an official movie tie-in with 3D buildings that kind of add to it. It's for 2 to 6 players, ages 7 and up. So pretty simplistic game, same to younger people. And here you can kind of see what to expect. Inside is the game board with 3-dimensional parts, 8 movers, game cards, spinner card, label sheet, and instructions. This has already obviously been used, so some of this is already put together. And the side pieces are the same on all of it, so not particularly exciting there. Alright, so we'll take our pieces out here and look at the board first. Alright, here's our game sheet. It's 4 pages, just folded blue and white. Really simplistic, but the paper quality is pretty decent. It's just really kind of boring looking. Alright, and here's our 4-square board. It does have slats pre-cut into them so that you can place the buildings in the appropriate places. Up here you've got the bridge, the clock tower. Over here's the pier where the game finishes. And then you've got the train and the bank. And over here, I believe that is the, what is that, school or something. So, and then you start down here the Daily Bugle. And you kind of move around the board that way. So, yeah. There's different tracks, safe from Ock over at May's house. It's an okay board. It's laid out pretty well. It's colorful. The quality's not that great. This one's fallen apart already. But it looks like it was fairly well loved. But yeah, you'll want to check the seams on these because they started making them real cheap around the early 2000s at a lot of places. You can see how this is kind of torn up, so you'll want to check the quality on that. Alright, we'll start here with the tallest building. And as you can see, there's actually letters on here. This is K, L, M, N, O, P, Q. And there's different spots that things can go. So you can sit up here, there's actually moving spaces. So these are actually important to the game, they're not just decor. Then we've got this building here. And this has W, V, U, T, S, and R. And that's, I think, to let you know how to assemble this because these tabs each go in different slots. And they are noted on here. So these are actually pretty nice. They've held up pretty well, considering. Somebody did go in and tape these. So there's some scotch tape in there. And that was probably a good idea to reinforce these. So here's our bridge. Battle for Doc Ock at the bridge. Go back 2 spaces. Is on this one. Here's our train. The New York City Express. They'll lose a turn on there for fighting Doc Ock on the train. And finally, our last building. This one's a little beat up on mine. Yeah, it's coming apart because this is dented in. That's one thing you do have to watch for with these is kids storing these weren't always gentle. Nothing on the back of this one. So that's just where you go to rescue Mary Jane. Alright, then we've got our spinner. And this is actually the spinner card with the actual spinner. Somebody did break the tab off that, and I think it's on upside down. But other than that, it's pretty standard spinner. It's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 on it. You could replace it with a D6 if you needed to, but this has obviously Spider-Man on them, so that would make it a complete game. The back is pretty boring, but it's a decent little spinner. Not the greatest, not the worst. The most low-end thing in this set is probably the box. Alright, then we've got our cards. Oops. There are 5 of them. They all have the same back. Let's find one that... These are kind of beat up. They say Spider-Man 2 on it. And it's not particularly exciting. This one is Doc Ock. Then you've got Spider-Man. Another Spider-Man. Third Spider-Man. And finally, a Mary Jane. So nothing particularly interesting about those. Then we get to our movers. And we've got Mary Jane, which is just sticker on top of these plastic thing here. And you'll notice this one is a different stand than the others. When we look at them, it's smaller and it's got this slit in the back because this is who you have to save. And here's Doc Ock. There's stickers on both sides of this one as well. And this one is significantly taller than the Mary Jane one. Where the Mary Jane one is approximately 1.5 inches. Doc Ock one is about 2 1/4. So then we've got Spider-Mans. We've got red Spider-Man, blue Spider-Man. The stickers are just, the background's different, that's it. Purple, yellow, gray, and orange. And then what you would do is take one of these, and if you've got Mary Jane, she slides on top like that. So that's how you'd actually rescue her. Pretty neat gimmick design for that. I like the idea. Because she'll fit on all of them. So you get these movers. You got 6 Spider-Mans, Doc Ock, and Mary Jane. So that's why it's for 6 players, because there's 6 people can play Spider-Man. These are actually pretty nice, but you'd want to definitely check to make sure they're all accounted for. These could break pretty easily too, but the plastic is pretty nice if you gently use them. The movers will hold up. The stickers probably aren't. They're already starting to come off, partly because they weren't centered properly, but also just due to time and the adhesion wearing off and dirt soiling, that sort of thing. So there are only 5 cards in the whole game, and mine are pretty beat up, and these are going to be difficult to replace because this is already a almost 20-year-old game at this point. So pretty nice imagery though, nice colors. Card stock's pretty good. The only real complaint I would have would be the box. So that is what is in the Spider-Man 2 Spider-Man vs. Doc Ock game from 2004, put out by Pressman. 2 to 6 players, ages 7 and up. Great bit of nostalgia, fun vintage game. It's a cool gimmick with the 3D buildings, but you'll definitely want to make sure everything's accounted for and in reasonably working order. So this is one that you're going to have a hard time finding complete, that is actually in good shape and is complete, I should say. So 3D buildings, mixed bag, but this is a nice little set. The only drawback is the box itself, like I said. You've heard my take, we've seen what's in the box. That's going to do it for this episode. Thank you so much for listening and supporting the channel. If you enjoyed the video, please hit the like button and don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss future unboxings and reviews. If If you'd like to help the channel out in other ways, links to my Patreon, Streamlabs, or pick yourself something up nice from the Teespring store. Those links are all in the description. If you want to help the channel in other ways, just share the video around on your social media. That helps quite a bit. And as always, we hope to see you on the next one.